All of these MAGA Republicans out there saying that Joe Biden is trying to talk about half of America when he calls you people extremists. Let's break down some numbers. You are not half of America. You don't even make up a third of America. You're just the loudest out there.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and TikTok is clapping back on the half of America argument that the MAGA GOP are dead set on selling to the American people, and they sure as hell don't make up half of us.
You guys do realize that there's like a huge portion of our population that doesn't vote, isn't registered to vote, which I don't agree with. I think everybody should be registered to vote. In fact, I haven't missed a single election, and I have voted in every single election since I was 18 years old and I could vote. But the fact that these people think that their extremist views make up half of America is exactly why they're going to lose in November.
This user rightly points out that a large portion of the United States doesn't participate in the election process, whether they sit most of them out except presidential elections or they simply have no time for politics. A lot of America doesn't pay attention to it. And this is a problem. If we want to change the way things happen with our representatives, then we have to make sure they hear us. And our loudest voice is our vote.
Half of Americans. No. First of all, there's more Democrats than there are Republicans, so it can't be half. But anyway, that's beyond the point. He was calling out those who do not condemn political violence. And if you think that he was calling you out, maybe you have to ask yourself that question. Do you condemn or condone political violence? Because if you don't condemn it, then he was talking about you.
Now, as for those who identify as MAGA, a poll last month indicated that 42% of Republicans identify as MAGA people, while 58% do not. And what percentage of those people even vote? And there's no really way to tell. Another poll found that 25% of Republicans responded, as well as 58% who are asked deemed the MAGA movement as a threat to democracy. So as the video creator stated, they are not half of the country. They are the loudest squeaky wheel on a cart being pushed down the aisle at Walmart. Everyone stops and looks and wonders why that wheel hasn't been fixed, but then they just move on. The more threatening percentage of MAGA Republicans exists in smaller government seats, city council and election boards and school administrations. These are the people who make small ripples in their communities that travel up the ladder to allowing for more harm to be done by those that get into higher positions of power. And that's where we find ourselves today. Local governments now house election deniers and school superintendents who don't believe racism is real. These are the people creating more issues that we can't fix if we don't get them out of power. People like Kari Lake in Arizona, who won her primary and believes that the election was rigged because Donald Trump did not win. Well, Lake is running for governor, who has quite some pull overseeing elections, but her Secretary of State will be the key factor. And who would that be? Well, Mark Finchman is running for that seat, and who would guess? He has also publicly come out and denied the election results of 2020. Imagine that. Another example would be New Mexico, where Republican officials in one county refused to certify the results of a primary election. And why would they do that? Well, they didn't like ballot boxes and echoed the same lies about voting machines as Donald Trump. Oh, and on a side note here, the commissioner of that county was convicted of trespassing on Capitol grounds during January 6th. Who would have seen that coming? And these are the real threats to democracy. The validity of a vote coming down to people who count the votes, see the numbers, and then decide that they just don't like them. This is a threat leading up to the midterms, that these people win, or those who already in these positions simply choose to not count the votes. And that would be the election interference that they so boldly claim that Democrats are engaging in. MAGA GOP folks ain't nothing if they ain't liars and cheats, and that's a fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.